Hey there, everybody! I am Drak.
And I'm Shadow.
And welcome to our Let's Play of Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy on the PlayStation 2. This is actually Alex's first time. I am a Jak and Daxter fan. I know that we've been covering a lot of Mario and Sonic and things like that, but there are a lot of 3D platformers that didn't really get as much recognition as Mario and Sonic. And this is one of them, so we figured that we would do an LP of this and see what people thought. And also see what Alex thinks, since this is a blind playthrough with him.
Yes.
Now, one thing to be mentioned is that since this is being done in HD quality and I have a weird setup...
I have spent my life searching for the answers that my father and my father's fathers failed to find. Who were the precursors? Why did they create the vast monoliths that litter our planet? How did they harness eco, the life energy of the world? What was their purpose? And why did they vanish? I have asked the plants, but they do not remember. The plants have asked the rocks, but the rocks do not recall. Even the rocks do not recall. Every bone in my body tells me that the answers rest on the shoulders of a young boy. Oblivious to his destiny, uninterested in the search for truth, and rejecting of my guidance. And why would he want to listen to old Samus the Sage anyway? I'm only the master of green eco, one of the wisest men on the planet. So it seems the answer begins not with careful research or sensible thinking. Nay, as with many of fate's mysteries, it begins with but a small act of disobedience.
Hey! Jak, old green stuff told us not to come here.
Continue your search for artifacts and eco. If the locals possess precursor items, you know what to do.
Deal harshly with anybody who strays from the village. We will attack it in due time.
What are we doing here anyway, Jak? This place gives me the creeps. Huh? Oh, stupid precursor junk. Eek! What is that dark ooze? It sure don't look friendly. The sage yaps on about the precursors that built this place all the time. Where did they go? Why did they build this crud? Now, I like precursor orbs and power cells as much as the next guy. But if you ask me, they must have been real losers. Wow! How did you do that? I think we're in trouble! Man, that stung! I told you we shouldn't have come here, and you listened! What? Okay. I'm fine.
What in green tarnation do you two want?
I was...
Don't tell me! Instead of heeding my wisdom, the two of you went mucking around in the only place that I told you not to go, Misty Island.
That's right, and then...
And, Daxter, you finally took a much-needed bath, but in a bathtub filled with dark eco.
Look, old man, are you gonna keep yapping, or are you gonna help me out of this mess?
I'm gonna keep yapping, because in my professional opinion, the change is an improvement. And besides, I couldn't help you if I wanted to.
What?
There's only one person who has studied Dark Eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form. Carl Acheron, the Sage. But he lives far to the north. Far, far to the north. Nobody has spoken to him in ages. I would teleport you there, but I can't do that either. None of the 3 sages that maintain the other teleporter gates have seen fit to turn their ends on for quite a while. The only other way north is by foot through the Fire Canyon, but its volcanic soil is hot enough to melt precursor metal. You can't just walk through it.
But you could fly over it if you had a zoomer equipped with a heat shield. I just happen to be working on such a thing at this very moment. All I would need is 20 power cells to give it enough energy to withstand the canyon's heat. Isn't that right, Daddy?
Yes, Kira, that might work. But where are a boy and a half going to get 20 power cells?
From the villagers. Most of them have a power cell or 2 stashed away somewhere. And even if they aren't willing to just give them away, greasing their palms with a few precursor orbs should do the trick. And I bet there are even more of them out in the wilds just waiting for some brave adventurer to find.
Well, we've got the brave adventurer at least.
Brave adventurer? You two couldn't find your way out of the village without training. Before you do anything else, you better go through the warp gate and get some practice on Geyser Rock.
We won't find any more of that dark gooey eco stuff, will we? Cause I'd hate to fall in again and turn into you.
Get in there before I turn you both into ferns.
This device is a communicator. With it, my father and I can give you advice at any time during your quest.
Alright, now with the intro out of the way, we can get into the gameplay. This is just a basic 3D platformer. And like I was saying before, I can't actually remember what I was saying before. We will stay quiet during the voice acting segments.
Precursor orbs. Collect enough of them, and some of the villagers will give you a power cell in exchange.
And yeah, we are just starting out on Geyser Rock. Geyser Rock is the training stage. You can kind of tell. And this is like basically every other 3D platformer.
The most important precursor artifact you can find. You need to collect 20 of these so I can power the heat shield for your A-Grav zoomer.
And by definition of 3D platformer, it's usually a collector of some kind. You have to collect some icon, and you have to collect so many of it.
Yeah, this feels like very much a rare game, even though it's a Naughty Dog game.
It's Naughty Dog. For those who don't know who Naughty Dog is, if you played the Uncharted game, then you've played them. If you played Crash Bandicoot, you've played a Naughty Dog game. And truth be told, I actually think this was a better gem than Crash Bandicoot was. I think they learned a lot of the lessons.
You found one of my scout flies. I sent 7 of them to each area to look for power cells, but the lurkers must have captured them all.
This is, in my opinion, this is probably a better gem than the Crash Bandicoot series, just because they figured out their bugs.
Eco allows you to run fast, break boxes, and even activate some precursor artifacts when you get near them.
And it even also has kind of a comedic element, wouldn't you say, Alex?
Yeah, it definitely does.
Crash was just supposed to be crazy, whereas, you know, they actually give a definition to why Daxter is the way he is. Now, if you're hoping that Jak speaks in this game for Jak and Daxter fans, he does not in the first game.
It's very RPG. Yeah, this feels very, like, tongue-in-cheek about, like, RPGs and, you know, the whole hero, destiny, chosen one stuff.
Yep.
And I'm liking it. I'm enjoying it.
And of course, when you get a power cell, you always get some kind of a dance sequence with
Wow!
Jak and
That
Daxter.
scoutfly had a power cell. I'll bet if you collect all 7 in each area, you can find even more power cells.
Now, I'm just going to go ahead and get this out of the way because I know that a couple of Jak fans may actually ask us, you know, what do you think of the later games? I enjoyed this game because it was uplifting. It was upbeat and very light on its tone.
Increases the time you can use its power.
The latter 2 games that came out from it, I'm not saying they're necessarily bad, but one of the things that I think killed Jak and Daxter, and that's why we don't see him anymore, is the games kind of took a dark shift.
This
and it didn't make
is a
sense.
precursor door. It can only be opened by approaching the door while channeling blue eco through your body.
And, you know, if we go deeper into the Jak series, then Alex, you will see it. But yeah, the series took a dark turn and tried to make Jak basically an anti-hero.
More concentrated than the floating clusters. This vent will give you a full charge of blue eco, letting you use it for the maximum time.
And this is kind of the mechanic of the game, Alex, is that your form of power-ups is that you have to look for different forms of eco. The green eco obviously heals you, blue will make you run faster, and then we'll come across two other beneficial types. Oh, and I suck at 3D platforming, apparently. You'll come across two other beneficial ecos, and then obviously dark eco, which you just saw.
Right.
Which, dark eco in any form hurts.
Okay.
And I gotta go back up there and get that power cell. Because we gotta... That's the concept here. I mean, if people have played like Mario 64, you have to collect stars. In this game, it's power cells in order to get further in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned rare, and because rare is
Good
definitely
work. The blue eco caused the door to open. With blue eco, you can breathe energy into all kinds of precursor artifacts that have lain dormant for
Now, we may
years.
talk over some of these tutorials because they really aren't needed. There are some points where the dialogue is funny, but most of the time it's just they're telling you how the game works.
Right. Well, I was saying just a
Those little green balls of energy on the
Yeah,
ground.
go ahead and talk over this because it's just green eco.
Alright, yeah, I was saying just a moment ago, this does kind of gives me that rare vibe because of its collectathon. Of course, it was really because of Mario 64 kind of set that precedent. That a lot of 3D platformers just followed Mario's example to do collectathon.
Yeah, I mean, with platformers, again, we're referencing Mario, but Mario is kind of the gold standard of all platformers. 2D platformers, he set the stage. 3D platformers, he set the stage on how you do it. The difference would be is, what quirk did you have in the game? Now, Sony actually had a lot of really good ideas for 3D platformers to contend with Mario that didn't really last. Crash Bandicoot had potential. Jak and Daxter has potential in this game. The other games aren't necessarily platformers. Ratchet and Clank is another good example on Sony's end that would be a contender to Mario. It's just that Mario's the freaking gold standard, and so everything is compared.
Good training, boys. But that's nothing compared to the challenges that lie ahead.
Then no problem. We got the moves, eh, Jak? We'd love to stay and chat, Big Green, but we're, itching to get on with our adventures.
Fine, fine. Adventure away, then. And while you're out adventuring, why don't you make yourself useful? My darn green eco-collectors are clogged up again. Head out to the far side of the beach and clear them out, why don't you? Follow the lamps. They'll take you right there. Now, all of you, get out of here!
I love Samus. He's like the best part of this game. I don't know why they took him out of the other games, but yeah, he's not referred to after this, and he was really fun as a mentor. Or a quote mentor in this game. And there we go,
Hey,
we have a love
lady.
interest.
What do you say you and I go cruising on this A-grad Zoomer?
Rule number 1, I don't date animals.
You don't know what you're missing.
I'm gonna pretend he didn't say that. Thank you.
Listen, if you need something to keep you busy, my father always talked about an ancient precursor pipeline hidden deep underground. Some of these pipes end in vents from which eco flows freely, and some have been capped off so that the eco is sealed back. There must be a way to turn the capped vents on. I traced part of the pipeline back to the Forbidden Temple. Maybe you should look there for some type of switch.
And as you can kind of tell, Alex, the stakes are now set. Is that we need to change Daxter back. So the way that you do that is that you slowly work your way up to where this Gull Acheron is, so that he can help to change Daxter back.
Right.
So just like with Mario 64, in the fact that the stakes were set that you had to go free Peach, just like in Sonic Adventure where the stakes were set, this is what you have to do. You have to gain power cells in order to move forward.
Flies are always in red boxes.
And we always get these little tutorial moments with Daxter pointing out the obvious.
No, don't tell me that you two have problems as well. The first I hear of monster sightings near the village.
We have problems as well.
Now this. See those gears up there, boys? See them? See how they're not moving? That means our village has no power. The eco beam coming from the jungle temple has been interrupted. And boys, everyone's too frightened to go out and find out what's happened.
Did you pay the bill?
Yeah. Oh, you're funny. Now look, if you two fix the eco beam, I'll give you a power cell. Oh, and another thing, if by any chance you're interested in making a contribution to my re-election campaign, I might be willing to part with yet another power cell. The minimum contribution is a very modest 90 precursor orbs.
I would, but Obi-Wan told me never to contribute to politicians. Because they're evil. Yes, he's the mayor of the town. The town I don't ever think really gets named. Now, I should probably point this out, guys. This isn't going to be a completionist run. It isn't.
Well, hello there, my dear boy. You've caught me at a most inopportune moment. I was to set off on my journeys yesterday, but I seem to be a spot short on the old precursor orbs. I would have pledged my word that I had 90 of them, but I gather that your young friend, the little annoying, miserably ugly one, might have just pilfered them as a sort of a spot of fun. Anyway, would you be kind enough to loan your dear old uncle 90 precursor orbs so he can get underway? I would offer you a power cell in return.
Yes, I know there's a lot of dialogue at the beginning of the game. It doesn't stay that way. We will have cutscenes here and there, but like I said, this isn't going to be a completionist run. I'm not going to go for all 100 power cells because, frankly, the true ending is kind of crap. It sets things up for Jak too, but not in a way that is clear. So, yeah, not a completionist run. Enjoy the dialogue. I promise we'll talk later in the other parts.
Little furry dude! Oh,
and we have Polly Shore.
I thought for a moment you were my muse.
Your what?
Haven't you ever seen a muse before? It's a little glowing squirrel about your size, full of spunk, and crazy as a lark.
Oh, I get it. Like a sidekick.
As a matter of fact, without my muse, I just can't sculpt. But with her around, I see beauty in everything, you know? Right now, I couldn't chisel my way out of a box. I think she ran away to that misty island. I just hope she's all right. It's worth a power cell if you bring her back to me.
Wait a minute! We are not going back to Misty Island! Are we?
Yes. Yes, in fact, we are. Because there are actually things to do there. And quite easy power cells to get there, so... And yeah, Alex is being amazingly quiet. He's just kind of taking this whole thing in.
Yeah. I'll have to forgive my silence. This is my first time seeing this game, really.
We promise, we will talk, but dialogue needs to be done.
Oh my, what a horribly sick little bird.
You don't look so good yourself, lady.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were a spotted orange-bellied rainfrey. You know, yesterday I saw some terribly vicious creatures capture a mother flut-flut near the beach. Now there's this poor little orphan egg sitting in a nest at the top of the cliff, and I can't get to it. If you could climb up there and push it off, I've piled some hay down at the base to catch it safely. Do an old lady a favor, and I'll give you a power cell.
And yes, for those who are probably going to be commenting on this, there is a lot of dialogue at the beginning.
Yeah, that's true for a lot of these games.
Yeah, it slows down, I promise.
They're setting the story up.
Mm-hmm. Gotta milk those yak cows. Gotta milk those yak cows.
That guy's a very active dreamer.
It's you. Oh, just resting my tired bones. I've been trying to get those ornery yak cows back into the pen all day. Some strange creatures tried to steal them earlier. You think you could help an old man and try to get them back into the corral?
So you can at least see that the design of the characters is very well inspired. And now we just see precursor orbs, and we just gotta go grab them. Alright guys, and we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back with more Jak and Daxter. Once again, I am Drak.
I'm Shadow.
And we'll see you in a bit.